Hi everyone, my name is Zaya Martin. I'm a realtor in the greater Philadelphia area. I help people buy, sell, and rent homes. And it's just what I love. It's a passion of mine. I've loved it since forever. But today in this video, we're going to talk about renting. I know a lot of people don't really talk about renting because that's not where the money is, but that's just a passion of mine because I love helping people take that next step. They may not be ready to buy. You may not be ready to buy, but you want to know the process in renting a home. All right, we're just going to get started. So the first thing in the process of renting a home is figuring out what you can afford. Many landlords are looking for about 3 times the income to match the rent. So if you are looking for a home that's $500 a month, the landlord is probably going to expect for you to make at least $1,500 a month because that'll be 3 times the rent. They just want to make sure that you have that extra coverage, that extra leverage, that if anything happens, you'll more than likely be able to afford the rent price. So you won't have to get evicted, or so you won't have to terminate your contract or lease if that's possible. So something else I like to keep my clients in mind of is making sure that you budget for utilities, your credit card expenses, and whatever else. So this all falls into what you can afford because you have to take a good guesstimate about what your area's utility rate is, which area's gas rate, electric, and water, sewer. You have to make sure that you know those things so that you budget accordingly, so that you can find a home that you can stay in, that you will love for years to come if you so choose for it to be. Next, I want to encourage you to think about savings. Before you move in, more than likely that landlord is going to ask for your first month's rent, your security deposit, and your second month's rent. Usually, not in every case, but usually the security deposit is equal to the first month's rent. So if your rent is $500, your security deposit will possibly be $500. Note, I am saying possibly because in some states you can be charged up to 2-3 times the monthly rent as a security deposit. You have to inquire with your state or your local realtor or landlord. You are going to want to find a realtor. Realtors conduct our business with a higher standard of ethics, and we make sure to pitch you first and your needs first at all times. It is not about the bottom line. It is about making sure that you get the home that you love and deserve. And your realtor will have access to special programs that the everyday consumer just doesn't have access to. Next, make sure that you keep your credit score high. If it isn't high, do your best to get it high. The higher your credit score, the more likely you have a better chance of getting approved for that apartment that you really love. And sometimes landlords don't want to see bankruptcies or evictions on your credit report. So if you are in that predicament, make sure that you're taking time to really go through your options, seeing what's available to you, and making an educated and wise decision. Leases, most of the time, are between 12 and 24 months. Of course, that's flexible and can change, varying on your state, your landlord, and even you. So just make sure you go through your lease and see what it says. Leases can even be month to month. I forgot to mention that. So you can have a month to month lease, which means that in 1 month you will be living there, the next month you might not. But that's something that you have to be careful to read and think about. You have to really think about what's best for you. Do you want a month to month lease? Do you want a 6-month lease? Do you want a 12-month lease? Or do you want a 24-month lease? I like to tell my clients, when you're making your decision about the kind of lease you want, think about where you are currently. Do you see yourself maybe moving in with somebody later, getting a roommate later? Do you see yourself buying a house? Do you see yourself having kids? Take all these things into consideration when deciding what kind of lease will work best for you. So now, if you are a college student looking for a lease, many schools work with landlords in the area and they cover it. But if your school is not one of those schools that work with landlords, here's what you can do. You can find a landlord that works with college students on a regular basis because most of the time they are pretty well versed that college students will not be getting a monthly salary, a bi-weekly salary, but instead will probably be getting funds from outside sources to pay for your school, for your housing. So you may want to inquire with the local agents and local landlords about how that will work in your particular situation. And if you are just graduating and you're looking for an apartment, make sure that you have a job and that you have pay stubs or bank statements for the last 60-ish days, and just make sure that it will cover the rent. When you're looking for a rental home or a renter apartment, a condo, whatever it may be, you always want to make sure you're going to be able to afford it. That is the most important part. If you need to, seek roommates. There's nothing wrong with having a roommate. Just make sure that you're compatible. Just make sure that you all work together, flow together, know how your sleep schedules are, your wake schedule, your work schedules, whatever it may be. Just make sure you're working with them. Alright guys, so now that you watched this video, I hope I was able to help you with your decision to rent a home, a condo, an apartment, whatever it may be. I hope that I was able to bring clarity to how the process works, and maybe we might even work together one day. So, God bless. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. Peace out.